that the executive committee is doing. You know, I have the privilege of being the chair of the Academy of Fellows, but the vast majority of the work is done by the team on the XC and then all the volunteers out there. And so I want to publicly thank the XC. They do a wonderful job. We were developing a wonderful series of friendships because of that. And so if any of you all are out there that are fellows or aspiring fellows, I encourage you to look into joining the XC someday, because it is a wonderful group of people that all pull the rope in the same direction. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rick Rubin, who's done a great job putting this together for us. And I just want to give a shout out to our two fellows that are going to give their updates today. I know them both well, and I really look forward to hearing what they have to say. So thank you all for volunteering to do that, and please share the word amongst your fellows of this opportunity. Thanks very much. Over to you, Rick.
Okay, I'll be brief now because it'll come back to me for a little update, but I also want to welcome everybody. This call is, and this is I'm going to say it's the first one that I've really coordinated, because the last one I was a little out of commission, and so this team that Charlie just described picked up the slack and made it work in July. So appreciate that. But it is a good opportunity to learn about what other fellows are doing, and it's informal. And so we want to make sure that we don't make it stuffy with a bunch of slides loaded with 10 bullets and bore you to death. Before I give it to Ann for any remarks, I'm just gonna ask that each person, as you speak, you don't need to come back to me. We can just turn it over to the next person, and when we get to the next slide, that'll kind of show you the pecking order. And so with that, I think I'll just give it to you, Ann.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me? We good, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I've been having computer issues, so if I start to lag, just wave your hands or something. I will keep it very brief. Just want to thank you guys for joining. The one thing I want to say is, we are always trying to figure out the best way to communicate. So whether it's the newsletters, these town halls, I know, if I get an email, it depends if it's who it's coming from, or if it looks like if it's a mass email, or so we're really trying to work on that. So just thanks for your patience. If you guys have any suggestions for how we can better communicate, we are always open to that. But beyond that, just thanks for reading the emails. Thanks for responding when we're asking for input, things like that. It's great to see everybody, and that is all that I had.
Okay, perfect. So that'll lead us right into the vice chair updates, and I'll start. I'm the vice chair for post outreach and engagement, which includes town halls. And I just want to say that I've only been serving on the committee for a few months, so I'm still kind of getting my feet wet and learning. But I can tell you, my observations are that the people that I'm working with are incredibly committed and have a real passion for improving SAME and giving of themselves to make it successful. And so it's really a pleasure and an honor to be even included in that group. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through updates from each of the chairs, and then once we have those updates, Tony Lakita is going to speak a little bit about the foundation. Kathy Ock will talk about staff, and then the real meat of the call is our two, I'll call them guest speakers today, Kevin Lovell and NK Mbaya, and they're going to talk about their how they're fulfilling their commitment statements, and I know just from talking to both of them that they're doing some great things out there. There are some things at the end we'll come back to, just some dates and some things that everyone will want to know, but with that, I don't want to. Oh, and I'll just add one more thing. December 2nd looks like the tentative date for the next town hall. So what you won't see today is any of the distinguished fellows speaking, but we will have them on for an update in the next one that we do. So with that, I'm going to kind of bow out, and I'm going to turn it over to Melissa Smith.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Smith. I'm the Vice Chair of Communications and Marketing. I echo what Ann said really about communications. We've been, I think, putting forth a great effort in that, we do now have the newsletter and we have the town halls, And so if there's anything else that you'd like to see, please let us know. Also, if you have any articles or materials that you would like in the newsletter, please send me an email or give me a buzz and I'd be happy to include those. Our last newsletter was in August. Our next newsletter will be in November. And then the newsletter in January will have all the new class of fellows. So that's really special. Everybody will get to see them with their picture and their credentials. And now I'll turn it over to Sally, the Vice Chair of Awards and Recognition. Sally?
Yeah, thanks, Melissa. Hey, everybody from Atlanta, Georgia. Hope everybody's doing well. And the Braves did not do so well last night, by the way. I was there at the game. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the awards and recognition. This is really our last call for the Golden Eagle external and internal nominations. So as you're thinking, this week of your folks and who you know and who needs to be recognized, it would be great if I could get every single person to nominate someone on this call, because I know we know all fantastic people. But as you're thinking through who's deserving of this, make sure you fill out the nomination form. It's online. All you have to do is Google SAME Golden Eagle nomination form. It'll pop right up. It'll be the first link. So we're trying to make it super easy. And that way we can have a really good slate to present and move forward with. So this is really the last opportunity, last call. We put it in the newsletter and looking forward to seeing some great nominations. Thanks so much. And I don't know if Patrice is able to join us by call today, perhaps.
I got you on that one, Sally.
Oh, okay.
All right. So yeah, Patrice was unable to join us. The only thing that we really wanted to report for that vice chair position, as you guys know, the fellows nominations are open. That closes October 1st. Same process as we've used in previous years. So if a name was not submitted to the national office at the beginning of August, then it's too late for this year at least to submit a nomination. But just keep in mind that people are working hard on those, especially these last couple of weeks, trying to get those ready. And really, fellows nominations, it is such a big group that contributes to those that I think a lot of times we don't always see. It's kind of transparent. You've got the nominees, you've got the nominators, you've got the executive committee that reviews the nominations, but there are so many people that can contribute and that we'd love to contribute to reviewing packages, helping people prepare, in out years for what they need to do to have a better package to put in. So just want to thank you guys for that. That is a continuous process that like I said, it touches a lot of people. So thanks for your support of that. And I think that is all that I had. So it looks like Sean.
And I'm gonna make a comment before we go down to Sean. So for everyone on the call, the turnout for fellows nominations this year was tremendous. The XC is going to have a difficult job of selecting those that are worthy, because there are so many north of 40 initial indications of applications, and so that's a large group for us to cull through. On the Golden Eagle side, though, let me amplify what Sally said. That is where we I would say are maybe a little bit lacking. And so if any of you are on the call that have someone in mind, whether internal or external, they're both equally important, really urge you to put that name forward. And again, it's usually for the external, it's usually someone, of course, significant of stature, but we're looking for a personal connection there, so that it's more likely that we can get that person to accept the award and come in and speak so highly of SAME. So thanks very much for that. Sean, I'll move on to you.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone across fellow land. It's Sean Moore, the Vice Chair of Events. I am calling in today, dialing in from a truck stop on the side of the road in Indiana. I'm traveling on business today, so hopefully you can all hear me. I can't see a thing, and luckily you can't see me. But just a couple of things to pass on today. First off, I want to do a shout out to both Chris Knutson and Scott Granger for their leadership of their respective fellows classes, the classes that we have not yet met in person, for their putting together informal get-togethers at SBC. I applaud that, and I encourage other fellows to do the same. I think it's a fantastic way to kind of get to know themselves. But I'd like to really start by saying my first item of business is that for SBC, we want to get to know those two classes, those people personally. We may have already interacted with them previously, but just to get to know them as fellows. And so at the luncheon that we've scheduled for the small business conference, I like to charge, I believe Jeff Leonard, the class of 2019, Chris Knutson, class of 2020, and Scott Granger, class of 2021, similar to the two featured presentations today. If there would be a volunteer from each of those classes that would like to give respective updates on their own charges, it's a chance certainly to see progression and maturation of some of those charges from earlier class, 2019, as well as to meet some representative people from those classes from 20 and 21. And again, a chance to kind of cross-pollinate and share within that luncheon other fellows and people that might be co-champions of something, or say, hey, I love to work with them. I just want to throw that out there. But those three individuals particularly pulls their classes and provide me a name or someone that might be interested in just a short overview of what they're doing, what their contributions are, their interests are. I think it would spur a great conversation and dialogue. And at that luncheon, I'd like each of those classes, rather than sit together at one table necessarily, I'd ask if they could maybe in pairs or in maybe onesie-twosies, sit across the room, and then we'll put a stanchion up at the different tables as to different charges, different interests of different people. That way we can truly have our membership sit across the room and hopefully have a good exchange of information. So it can be talked at, it's talked amongst us. And again, this stemmed from somebody's interest that people have expressed to me. But that's the main gist of it. The second part is for JETC. I want to start people thinking ahead for JETC for Fellows Luncheon. I'd like to think in terms of how we as fellows can help to sponsor some of these up-and-coming members of the Leadership Development Program. Those projects that they're doing, things that we might be able to help champion and work with them. We might find a young member or a Leadership Development Program classmate or a member that we can just help usher through and work with. I think it would help to share kind of what their research projects are all about. And then lastly, when it comes to engineering camp mentorship, I'd really like to call upon our fellows to really look to, and I'll talk with Angel about this more, but how can we encourage our fellows to become involved as engineering camp mentors, either encouraging through their sustaining members, their companies to encourage and support sponsorship of going to the camps, or possibly a young member's participation in paying it forward. So I wanted to plant those seeds, and certainly if Jeff, Scott, and Chris can get back to me on behalf of their classes, I greatly appreciate that. But other than that, please use me as a sounding board for areas of interest, events, means of trying to best make events possible for us that are valuable and fun and truly something you enjoy going to. And that's all I've got, Charlie. And I can't see who's next, so I'll have to pass it back to you.
Okay, well, next up is Philios.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Philios Angelis, Vice Chair of Mentoring. Greetings from the Washington, D.C. area. Thank you, Charlie. And I want to tie, my role as Vice Chair of Mentoring is to champion all causes of mentoring within the Academy of Fellows and being a conduit for bringing forward the expertise of our fellows to support different communities of interest. And Sean just set me up with his call for mentors for the camps and other places. That's just one example of where we can bring our knowledge and expertise. Two of the areas where I have particularly put some energy, in addition to helping bring fellow resources to support the LDP class and other places within our society, is mentoring of posts, and the other one is mentoring of agencies, military agencies and installations. And we have 2 pilot projects going on right now. And I'm hoping that we, based on the what I expect to be a successful run of both of them, that we will have the good starting point for making this a national initiative. One of them, it was featured in our most recent article of the Academy of Fellows newsletter, is the initiative I am championing on behalf of the Academy of Fellows with collaboration with other fellows, working with the Mid-Maryland Post to help them expand in mentoring activities. I mean, they have a robust program already, but we're collaborating, and we had our first planning session. So our focus with regard to Academy of Fellows involvement will be mentoring sessions in support of the University of Maryland student chapter that they have. And then the other part would be a business mentoring program, or a series of programs to help small businesses, mentor them in different areas of practices and operations. So those are the 2 initiatives within the Mid-Maryland Post that we will be championing this year. So I'm hoping by next summer's edition of our newsletter, when I get to report on mentoring activities, I will highlight the success we had with these 2 actions within the Post. The other part is, as I mentioned, is mentoring using fellows as conduits, mentoring military installations and agencies. And our first program that we have coming up, and it's going to be announced in about a month when we publish it, is an event that we're planning with Joint Base Andrews, and that's going to be the DC Post, in association with the Academy of Fellows, will be hosting this on the base event, where we will have a series of technical workshops and then a business briefing. And we're excited about that, and I'm hoping that we can replicate that with other installations. I've had 2 or 3 others in mind who have expressed interest, and hopefully we'll get those in the wings. So with that, what I wanted to, my ask of all of you is, if you're aware of any small posts or any installations that could use the benefit of our expertise as fellows, and you like to bring it to my attention and we can work together to create programs, I offer myself as your point of contact and sounding board, so we can organize some of those activities. And I'll probably be repeating this reporting and plea over the next few sessions we have through the year. So, but it's exciting, and I'm here to support any initiatives you have related to mentoring. So with that, I would yield to Tony Lukita for the foundation update.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you. I don't see myself. Can you all see me?
Yes, we see you.
Okay. All right.
We do.
I have got two quick items for you. The first item is that we put the finishing touches on our Second Century Fund Drive flyer yesterday, and this will be going out shortly. It's a one-pager. I would ask you, when it comes, don't just throw it in the trash. Take a few seconds and read it. It really does a good job of capturing what the society is doing and what the foundation is supporting the society in doing to attain our goal, which is fostering engineering leadership for the nation. And if it's within your means, I would ask you to consider making a contribution. And we have set a goal within the next 5 years of raising $1 million. So if you want to be part of that, we would appreciate your support. The second item that I have for you, for those of you that don't know, the foundation board has 15 slots on the board. 15 people make up the board. And at the present time, we have 3 vacancies. And so we're in the process of recruiting to fill those 3 vacancies. If you think that it's something you would like to do, feel free to contact me, or feel free to contact any other member of the foundation board. The foundation has a tab on the SAME website where all the names are, and you've got my contact stuff as part of this this presentation here. You serve a 3-year term. It is a working board. We have a number of committees, and we've got some really dedicated people who sit on that board. By the way, of the 12 members of that board, 7 are distinguished fellows, and you've got 3 distinguished fellows sitting here on the call today. That's all I got for the foundation. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. And according to your agenda, Kathy, you're up next.
Hey, Tony, before we go to Kathy, let me ask you if someone had the question of, are there any minimum qualifications to be on the board, on the foundation board, what is your answer for that?
There is no minimum. I would tell you that every member of the foundation board is a fellow, and I also told you about the number of distinguished fellows that make up the board. We're looking for people that have a history of dedicated performance to the society, and also the energy and desire to make a contribution towards fostering engineering leadership for the nation. We're really getting into the fundraising aspect of this right now. We're contacting outside agencies, organizations that are not part of SAME, looking for them to join our effort. And it's getting a lot of attention right now, this whole fundraising thing, because it's so essential to what the foundation is, the philanthropic arm of the society. And that's what they do. So no minimums, just what I said, a desire to participate, a history of performance. And, you know, if you know somebody on the board and you can get them to champion your interest, that wouldn't hurt.
Thanks very much. That's very helpful. Appreciate it. Kathy, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I don't have too much to add. As Rick said, the Distinguished Fellows will give an update at the next town hall about the Golden Eagle Award and the recipients that they've chosen. If anybody who's putting packets together for fellow, if they have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. And as fellows, I just want to remind everybody that the national officer and elected director nominations are coming up, and we're going to have a webinar on September 30th to demystify those positions. And right after that, on October 1st, we will open nominations. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. And I will turn it over to Kevin.
Thank you, Kathy. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can, Kevin.
Great. Thank you. So thank you for the opportunity to share an update on how I'm fulfilling my pledge to society, which was focused on helping veterans and active duty service members transition to the private and federal sectors. And specifically, I called out the need to do this so they can continue to support our nation's national security. It was based on my own understanding, challenges, stumbles, and successes in my own personal transition from active duty service into the private sector. I specifically called out the need to integrate with existing robust programs in my pledge. My personal objective is to build repeatable efforts and plans that posts, regions, and member firms could adopt. I wanted to look very much past the building one individual committee at a chapter and build something like you would a house with a very broad, deep, and strong foundation. To that end, in my new employer, or my current employer, KPMG, who I've been with since 2019, the year that I was inducted in the academy, I've been fortunate enough to partner with other like-minded veterans that are very focused on assisting in that transition effort. We decided to look at organizations, people, processes, and tools. And our thought process was focused on how we could recruit and retain talent in a professional delivery services environment for organizations. And not just for the organization as it sits today, and not for how it sits in the past and how it delivered its services in the past, but how it will deliver its services in the future. To that end, we focused on building relationships with external organizations, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Hire Our Heroes, 4Block, and most recently, the SOCOM Warrior Care Internship Program. We identified the processes and procedures that we would need to execute to identify quality candidates, engage them in lasting, meaningful ways to determine their professional desires, to educate them on what the market or how their services, background, skills, attributes, knowledge, and experience could translate into the private and federal sectors. Methods and means to engage our own firm's leaders from the C-suite all the way down to service line leaders, so we could align those service members' needs, desires, and skills with potential work opportunities. We completed and developed systems to complete the firm's reviews and get the potential fellow candidates in for interviews, and then complete administrative requirements, just like any organization would have for things like background checks and bringing them on payroll, even though they're not paid, because they're specifically in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Hire Our Heroes program, they're still on active duty and drawing paychecks from the U.S. Department of Defense. Getting them provision for technology like laptops and access and all the rest of the administrative requirements we have for every other employee. We completed a localized pilot. So we developed those processes and then we tested them. Completed a localized pilot, and that resulted in a successful placement of our candidate into a very difficult position to gain employment in here within KPMG with an extremely competitive salary. These efforts and the tools that we've developed are directly translatable to any profession, so not just the professional service profession, and to any firm that participates in SAME. Additionally, in amongst all these engagements, I personally had the opportunity, because we have a strong desire, modus, and corpus in the Academy of Fellows to individually mentor individuals. I engaged 10 veterans over the course of the last year and current service members, and mentored them through the process of opportunity identification, how to craft their resumes, how to engage target firms, their interview preparation, and how they need to build networks professionally. Our next steps in this effort are to exploit our successful pilots by expanding our hiring efforts nationwide, using growth at scale, and then specifically in targeting potential candidates that would be interested in our federal services market. We're also going to leverage the recently gained C-suite level support that we have in our 33,000 person organization for developing our veteran hiring initiatives. KPMG's diversity, equity, and inclusion in corporate leaders have made this effort a central pillar to the firm's Accelerate 2025 program. That program, ladies and gentlemen, is our strategic initiative focused on accelerating diversity and equity in the workplace to produce an energized and engaged workforce that will allow us to win in the marketplace. And I think it's very important for us to point out that they've identified that the veteran community, the active duty and reserve component transitioning service member, is central to our potential success. And then finally, one of the efforts for this next upcoming year and a half is to codify, refine all of these elements into a playbook, which we can share with leaders in the Great Lakes region and establish committees at the appropriate level to guide chapters and firms in applying this rubric. Once we've identified that, then I think we'll be, or identified successful ways to establish this within firms within the Great Lakes region, and committees at the appropriate level, whether that's regional or at the chapter level, will be in the position to come back to this body and share successful playbooks, processes, and procedures which can be replicated throughout the country.
Kevin, that's fantastic. Thanks very much for that update. Clearly, no moss is growing on you. Before we go on to NK to hear her update, I'm interested if there's any other fellows that are on the call that have any questions of Kevin. Okay, hearing none. NK, the floor is yours.
All right. I am going to try You can see me. All right. Can you hear me clearly? All right, great. Thank you very much for inviting me to give a little bit of an update of what I have been up to in the last few months towards fulfilling my commitment, which was helping the LA Post to expand our K through 12 and college outreach through leveraging some of my own partnerships with other STEM organizations. To give a little bit of a background, I sit in San Diego physically, but I am involved with the LA Post. And while we are small, we've done a lot of work and been really involved in the STEM area. We stood up our student chapter a few years ago, and that had been going really well until COVID hit and we all went virtual. But also, as we progressed, I think the last 3 years, we struggled just to keep our contacts within the LA community. So when we had scholarships coming up, or when we had the construction, engineering construction camps coming up, we found that a lot of our connections were either no longer connections or no longer available. So we were struggling really to get a foothold to some of the either the high schools and the colleges that we had typically been involved with. Now, one of the things that we did do that I'm really proud of our post on is that we partnered with Loyola Marymount University and the Alumni Association there, and basically we've been able to award, I think, three scholarships there every year for the last few years, and they basically, whatever we are able to, we give, I think, 2,500, and that is tripled. Is tripled by the Alumni Association, who then contribute 5,000. So all the students who got that scholarship, they had to go through the process of applying, and we vet them, and once they got that scholarship, it was basically tripled. So that had been going really well too. And we are still doing that. But again, that outreach to get the word out, really, especially to students that need this. Mostly, it's been the underserved communities, especially high school students who are going to pursue STEM degrees and they really don't know what they need, or they just don't know what they don't know. Now, what we did do and what I started doing this past year, I partnered with our STEM outreach chairperson within the Post. We've been having regular meetings to try and identify the organizations really that are local to LA that especially serve the underprivileged areas. One of them that we are now going to be working with this coming year is Great Minds. They're a STEM organization that basically really does serve the underserved communities, basically. And one of the, an update that I was really, really pleased to, to kind of come up within the last few weeks is that our newly minted Post president, Colonel Bolton, is also really committed to STEM in her role as the commander of the LA district. And she, when we were chatting about, some of the things that we would do as the, as a Post, she is standing a committee within the LA district to basically pursue and see what the LA district as a command can do to promote STEM within high schools, especially through the K through 12 area. So that's one of the things that really, for me, individually, I'm really excited about this, because then it's not only as her role as a Post president, but also as within her role as a commander, she is really passionate about this. And I had committed to doing whatever I could with other organizations, and so we are working to bring that together, and hopefully the other organizations that I have been reaching out to can be incorporated in that, and maybe in a few months we'll have even more, I'll have a more detailed update on some of the more concrete steps that we'll have been taking. But that's it for me today. Thank you.
Thanks, NK. It sounds fantastic. I love the thought of tripling those scholarships for some of those young folks. That's just amazing. That really caught my ear. Are there any of the folks on the call that have any questions for NK about what they have going down there in LA and in San Diego? All right. Hearing none, I will go back to Rick to wrap it up.
Thanks, Charlie. And thank you, Kevin and NK, both for stepping up and sharing what you're doing. Those are some great steps. And NK, I know you said you've only been at it a few months, but it sounds like some really, really great progress. So that's really encouraging. A couple things. One, kind of open it up for any of the regional fellows point of contacts. If you guys want to share anything or ask any questions, that would be great. And then I also noticed Buddy Barnes is on the call. And Buddy, I didn't know if you might want to say a word about distinguished fellows while you're on the call. But other than that, I'll just open it up to anyone that has any comment. And then after that, we'll look at a calendar of events.
Buddy, you're on mute.
That's the most used phrase in the last.
Right.
You're on mute, right?
You were off mute for a second, but now you're back on mute.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Got it.
All right. So I want to make sure that if you have someone, as Sally mentioned, that you think ought to be in for the Golden Eagle, please get that in. It's important. We want all of you fellows to bring people forward. And so it is a major event and a major award that we would like to continue giving. Other than that, it's a beautiful day in Texas now that the storm has gone to Louisiana.
Okay. Any of the thank you, Buddy. Any of the regional fellows point of contact want to share any comments or throw any questions out there?
This is Kevin Lovell from the Great Lakes. We're really encouraged by 4 different candidates coming from 3 different chapters that we're about to submit for the Academy of Fellows, and looking to capitalize on their lessons learned across the region for successful candidate packets submissions next year.
Excellent. Thank you, Kevin. Anyone else?
This is Sheila from Boston. Hello, everybody. And this is the first time in a number of years that we are submitting a candidate for a fellow. So we're excited about that.
Awesome. Thanks for your support of that, you guys. That's no small undertaking for sure.
Well, with over 40 across the country, I know that there's many others of you on the call that are getting ready to also send some forward. So thanks for that effort.
So who do we bribe to get our candidates, the ones that win? I'm just teasing.
Sheila, there's no bribes. There are gifts. We don't want to put anybody in jail. There's no bribes. Man, blackmail's cheaper, Sheila, just so you know.
Okay, well, I think with that we can move to the calendar. So obviously everybody knows that first date. That's the one we've been talking about, and that's coming soon. It's 2 weeks away. So I would encourage you, just from my own experience, get them uploaded early in case you have any glitch with the system, although the system has been working fantastic the last couple of years when I've dealt with it, but I still would advise that. And then I think you all know about the Small Business Conference, November 15th through 19th. Sean talked about the Fellows Luncheon. And so we're looking forward to that. We have a tentative date of December 2nd for the next town hall. And of course, at year end, December 31st, the results will be provided for the nominees, nominators as to the Academy of Fellows. Capital Week in March with dates still TBD, and JETSI is in Denver next year. So I can turn it back to you, Charlie, or Ann, if you guys have any final comment, or anybody else that wants to chime in. But thank you all for attending. Really appreciate it. It's a lot of
Ann, I'll
value.
let you go first.
Just thanks, everybody. Just stay out there, stay safe, keep supporting each other, and thanks for attending today.
Yeah, thanks very much. My special thanks to MK and Kevin, both great job. Thanks for willing to step forward and talk about the activities that you're doing. We're going to continue to do this. I think it's a great opportunity to let fellows talk about the hard work that's going on. We have one other activity that's going to be commencing pretty soon, and that's a demographics update for the fellows. Right now, we don't, while there's hundreds of fellows out there, we don't know all of the demographics very well. And so we're going to, we have one of our peers, Pat Coulahan, is going to be leading the effort for the Academy to try to get a better handle on all of the demographics and who's active and who is not. And so final plug for SBC. It'll be wonderful to see everyone in person, and really look forward to that. And so thank you all very much for attending today, and look forward to seeing you face to face soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.